Welcome to Man Reacts. Today, I'm going to discuss the harsh reality of women and loyalty. So, I meet a lot of guys who have differing views on this, but the crew of the matter is that if I take all of their stories and experiences together, put them together, and make an average of how loyal their partners, girlfriends, and wives have been to them, on average, I'd have to say that 95% of the time, the women in their lives were not loyal to them. And this goes across the board in multiple societies and regions as well. Women are just not very loyal, and men need to know that and be aware of how their women can be cheating on them. And you know what? Women really don't like this. They don't like to hear this concept. They don't want to hear how most women around them, even including themselves, have never truly been loyal. They're out there flirting with any other guy who has more money, a better body, or a better life. They're subtly trying to hint they're open to another relationship, while at the same time feeling guilty about how they're treating their current partners. Women are confused, and there's no doubt about that. The hookup culture has especially brought out their true colors because women have the advantage of numbers. You see, for every single guy out there trying to hook up with a woman, there are 20 other guys in the same boat trying to hook up with that one particular woman. Crazy, isn't it? So, women have the leverage of leaving a guy and immediately monkey branching off to the other guys who are out there literally waiting for the woman to say okay and meet up for a date. This makes them very unsure about themselves, and the overly sensitive ones also feel a dent in their self-esteem every time a woman ghosts them, doesn't turn up for a date, or leaves them for another man without a sense of closure. It goes without saying that the dating market has grown more competitive than ever. There are numerous factors that, though commonplace nowadays, might destroy a relationship. It's your duty as a guy to be able to criticize both yourself and your partner for your inadequacies if you want a happy and stable relationship. Keep in mind that a man's company defines him, and the woman who stands by you will do the same. The relationships in a man's life are what ultimately define him. Without you realizing it, you may have been in or are still in one of these unhealthy relationships. It all comes down to societal influence and programming. Men have grown accustomed to accepting so many negative traits in women that they don't even realize the negative impact it can have on their life. Later, contemporary men often become so overcome with desire and love that they fail to notice significant defects in their partners. Here is the unpleasant truth. Today's women are toxic and cunning. If you let them, they'll try to catfish you for attention and an ego boost at every opportunity. Having said that, it's important to note that you should keep an open mind as we discuss this. Why? Because at the end of the day, it's ultimately up to you to decide whether you end up in a horrible relationship or if you make yours the best one. Here's how you can figure out if the woman you're with is on the road to being disloyal. And trust me, this really does give you a good idea of what's going on in her mind. Modern women can be great at deceiving men. Building a solid foundation for any relationship requires open communication, honesty, and clarity. For a lot of folks, this isn't the case. When one side of the partnership has too much trust in the other, this results in one partner becoming overly controlling. It should be very clear as to why you shouldn't date women who are likely to try and dominate you. These women desire to exert control over every element of a man's life, including what he wears, how he spends his free time, who he hangs out with, and even what he eats and drinks. They will use a variety of strategies to try to take over all facets of your life because they are opportunistic. When there is a lack of trust in the relationship, this kind of woman will be toxic to any man. Your partner should believe that you are independent and capable of taking care of yourself. You might, however, be better off seeing someone else or staying single if the woman you are seeing begins to exhibit controlling behavior. Women can be incredibly manipulative and deceiving. Early on in a relationship, it might be challenging to recognize this. You two are extra nice at this point because you're just beginning to know one another. Her initial polite actions and considerate behavior give off the impression that she is highly compassionate. She attends to all of your needs and is an excellent listener. At one time, You might even believe that you have found the one since she consistently brings out the best in you, leading you to believe that she might be the one. You start to trust her more and more as time passes, yet you only find out someone's genuine motivations over time if she has your confidence in her. Now that you are fully committed to the relationship, she starts to change for the worse. She quickly transforms from a familiar face to a completely horrible human being. You only now realize how very different she is from everyone else. So what actually happened was that she pretended to be the girl of your dreams for the first few months of your relationship. However, this was only done to lure you into her trap once things become monotonous and there was a definite pattern. You begin to understand who she truly is. She suddenly starts putting forth big requests. She suddenly begins acting out emotionally and blames you for everything when there is a disagreement. She is the one who suffers, and it is usually your fault. Since they've already done the groundwork, it's not difficult for them to accomplish this, creating an idealized image of themselves in your mind and leaving you feeling confused and dazed. This type of gaslighting tricks you into thinking that there must be a problem with you because all you've ever desired was a female who was perfect like her. Sure, in the beginning, she was the girl of your dreams. But now, not so much. Be extra careful when you do come across this type of woman, as it's the conniving ones that would have always been plotting behind the scenes from the very beginning. Some women love playing the victim card, and those are probably thinking about leaving you for other men. When things are not going well, there are certain kinds of women who will be ready to blame you. You must also be aware of the women who fall on the other end of this range though, the kind of woman who assigns blame to herself. If a woman frequently criticizes herself, makes it a habit of putting herself down, self-deprecates, or consistently says bad things, it could be a sign of something that could potentially lead to issues later on in the relationship. Then, she has a lot of internal work and concerns with her self-worth to address. At first, you might feel compelled to step in and take care of her because you believe she needs your help. But you also need to understand that there are only certain things you can do to boost someone else's self-esteem. It is in your best interest to absolutely avoid and keep clear of this type of woman, since much of the work she needs to do must come from herself. And unless she is prepared to do the work and put in that time and effort to work on herself psychologically. Beware of women who are high maintenance. This kind of woman can be challenging to manage. This woman has to be given a lot of consideration. They frequently demand stuff and have strong neediness. They radiate alpha energy and can be really harsh with the man they are dating. Because of their absurdly high expectations for men and their outrageously high standards, these women are often pretty tough to please. If you behave in a way that displeases them, be prepared to endure harsh criticism and severe berating. They will be ready to point out all of your flaws while conveniently ignoring their own. This actually shouldn't be a surprise because they're so conceited and self-centered. This sort of woman believes she is more successful than most others. She is quite conceited and preoccupied with her appearance. She demands a lot of care. Women put a lot of emphasis on how they physically appear, which can be extremely off-putting to most men. These women seem to be looking for a partner with similar intensity, but they are unwilling to invest much time or effort in their relationships. Additionally, due to her materialistic desire, be prepared to spend a fortune on extravagant gifts for her, which will cause you to go bankrupt. She'll count on you to be able to take care of her, but don't expect her to genuinely reciprocate by doing the same for you. So, the harsh reality of thinking that modern women are loyal might only get you hurt when your woman does cheat on you. So, it's best to stay away from the types of women I've just mentioned, and if this video has helped in any way, then be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more content from Man Reacts.